We have some more character introductions going on. We've got some decent fight scenes. But overall, just another quick story here on the Yu Yu Hakusho arc reviews. Alright, so I'm calling this the Three Monsters arc just because the first episode that they're all in is called Three Monsters. But basically the biggest premise in this is 3 artifacts have been stolen from Koenma's archive, and he needs to get them back within a week, or when his dad, King Yema, comes back, he's gonna beat that booty till it's burnt red. So it's up to Yusuke to find the 3 artifacts. They're taken by 3 low-level demons. We have Goki, we have Kurama, and we have Hiei. We find out later on that Hiei and Kurama both become main characters of the series, if that wasn't already the case with the opening and ending credits. But yeah, a lot of good action in this. We get some decent character interactions, some more character introductions, and just some things that are overall kind of cool. This was a very short arc. I think it was like 3.5 episodes, because I guess technically this one starts on where Yusuke becomes a spirit detective. But yeah, here's a few things I didn't like in this arc. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the spirit tools themselves. Where they are very cool, they end up not really amounting to much, which is kind of sad because, again, they're really cool. We have this hourglass where you can see spirits. You have the ring that helps concentrate spirit energy into that point, especially for Yusuke's spirit gun. We have the compass that helps you detect any demons that you've already previously seen and where they are. But the sad part is they don't really amount to much of anything when the story keeps going. I mean, they're cool introductions and they're used very well, but again, they're just not used to their fullest potential. So I'm kind of starting this one off just with that. Again, it's very nitpicky. And if you want, it is also something I did like in this arc, but again, they don't really amount to much of anything in the overall story. So another thing I didn't really care for in this arc is the misunderstanding that Keiko has with the whole Yusuke Botan thing. It's a very simple trope of, oops, I found you with somebody else. It's a misunderstanding. I'm mad now. Where, again, this is just very nitpicky. I actually had to stretch for some of these. But yeah, it's just one of those tropes where it's just like when you watch it back and you're just exposed to it too often now, it just gets old after a while, and you're just sitting there like, okay, let's just move on from this plot point, which they do. They don't harp on it too much. It's mainly just used in, like, I think the Hiei part of this arc. But yeah, it's just something I'm not too keen on. So another thing that kind of brought me down on this arc was actually Goki. Out of the 3, he's obviously the weakest, and the one that we don't see a lot of. Plus his design is, as you see, very basic. But yeah, he just didn't really amount to much. He used the orb to steal souls from kids. I guess their souls tasted best to him. And he's the first, like, real demon that Yusuke fights. And yeah, Yusuke doesn't beat him at first, but he does go back and beat him with the spirit gun and all that. So, again, Goki didn't really amount much to anything except, hey, you need to use your spirit gun against these guys. There's no other way. There's no other choice. You gotta do it. But, yeah, Goki was there. Now, my last 2 points I'm gonna lump together because they kind of deal with Hiei. The first one being his transformation. I'm not really a big fan of it. I'm never a fan of the looks of somebody having eyes all over their body. I don't know, just, for one, it's creepy, so I understand the creepy aspect that we're getting from it. But on the other hand, I'm just not a fan of those designs. So that to me is just bad. Um, and then the other thing is, so they hype up Hiei a lot. They're like, oh, Yusuke's gonna have a tough time with this character, with this kook. Yusuke kind of punks him. Like, Yusuke beats him kind of easily. Like, yeah, Hiei could have beaten Yusuke if Kurama didn't come in to take that blow. Or if the mirror wasn't there for Yusuke to shoot his spirit gun at and defeat Hiei. But that being said, I mean, again, Hiei just getting punked. I mean, it's kind of funny when you think about it, especially Hiei's character, but that's the thing. That's the thing I was trying to get at, is that Hiei was built up as a challenge for Yusuke, but then he was just kind of beaten down. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, not too much to go into with all that. So again, this section is very nitpicky, especially dealing with Yu Yu Hakusho. So let's just go ahead and talk about the things I liked in this arc. Okay, so kind of to start like I did with the last section, I did like the spirit tools. They're pretty cool. You know, you have the item that helps Yusuke train in his spirit energy and concentrating it into that single point with the spirit ring. You have the compass that helps them find where these demons are that he's seen. But again, like I said, in the things I didn't like, I just didn't like that they aren't utilized much more after this. But yeah, I did like them. So again, that point is just kind of, I liked it, but I didn't like it. It's one of those things. So another thing I liked about this arc, which I'm probably going to say a lot more of going down the road in Yu Yu Hakusho, but it's the use of lighting, coloring, shading, just the way they animated some scenes. Like, for example, the scene with Yusuke and Kurama on top of the hospital. We know it's dusk, but the fact that they used like an all red background for it, because not only is it dusk, but something bad's about to happen. You know, Kurama finds out that his mother is actually about to pass away that night. So using just like dark red to not only represent dusk, but that overlooming dread of Kurama's mother dying, and then you see just a little ray of sunshine just like passing by Kurama's face, being that little ray of hope that the mirror will give him when him and Yusuke finally use it. Well, he plans on using it. We'll get to Yusuke's involvement here in just a second. But yeah, just the use of coloring, use of shading, lighting, all that stuff. It's not gonna be the first time I say anything about that, but you know, I like what they did here. Especially in that episode. And there's a couple other instances too, like when Yusuke's fighting Goki, the color of the backgrounds change to more of a dark dread feel. I can't remember if it happens during the Hiei fight, but definitely in the first two fights this happens. Well, first two encounters, I should say. But yeah, good on the animation team for trying to convey all of that. Kudos to you guys. So to piggyback off of the whole scene with Yusuke and Kurama on top of the hospital, I like that Yusuke helps Kurama here. So it's another instance of subverting expectations, because we already saw a fight with Goki, and then immediately after that, Kurama comes by saying that he just wants to talk to Yusuke in 3 days. Meet me at the hospital. And so Yusuke meets him. Now Botan, she's a little bit apprehensive on this, thinking that it's a trap, but Yusuke can sense that Kurama doesn't mean wrong here. So he meets up with Kurama. Kurama says, you know, I used to be a demon. I came into the human world, took over an unborn child, and became Shuichi. And my mother's dying, and I want to save her because she gave me life, so I kind of owe her. So Kurama wants to do well. But the thing is, the mirror actually takes, hi baby, yeah, I know. Shelby loves this show too. But, so yeah, the mirror, no matter what you want, it's gonna take your life. So Kurama's asking for the mirror to save his mom, obviously. And Yusuke finds out that doing that is gonna take away Kurama's life. So Yusuke actually puts his hand in and takes some of the energy as well to save Kurama's mom, saying that, you know, even if she's alive and you're dead, that's going to be nothing for her. I've seen that before. I've seen what mothers become when their sons die. I can't let that happen here. So, you know, Yusuke helps him out there, and the mirror, whatever being possesses the mirror, actually takes pity on them and says, you know, I'm not going to take a penalty for this because somebody helped you out. You know, you had help, and it was an act of not selfishness. It was an act of unselfishness, basically, for another's life. And yeah, it took mercy on him. So that was, and again, it's another way of looking at Yusuke's character, because yes, he's this rough kid who wants to find his place in life and all that, but he is a good person deep down, and this just continued to prove that point of who Yusuke Urameshi is as a person. Next on the list is the quick introductions we had for Kurama and Hiei. Now, watching the openings and the endings, you notice that Kurama and Hiei are with the main group, so they're going to become main characters. So we're getting quick introductions of who they are as people. Now, we don't get an introduction of what they're all about, because there's still more to Hiei's story, which we'll get to in later arcs. Kurama, his is pretty much self-explanatory there. Again, he explains that he used to be a demon called Yoko. He would steal, you know, treasures and all that, but he was kind of banished into the real world. Well, he ran away into the real world, took over the body of an unborn child, born into a half-human, half-demon kind of thing. I mean, that's pretty much Kurama's story right there. So, yeah, we get Kurama's part. Hiei, again, we get to later on, but we get the idea that he doesn't really like humans. It's not the fact of, you know, oh, I'm a demon, I hate humans. No, there's something more underlying there, but we find that out later on. But it's a nice, quick introduction of the two characters and basically why they end up helping out in the future. And then the last thing I'll point out of things that I liked in this chapter was actually Yusuke's quick gamble against Hiei. So the fight, I want to say it's pretty much even between him and Hiei, even though, like, Yusuke does catch Hiei off guard a bunch of times and kind of punks him out, if we're really being honest. But Yusuke does take a gamble here. So in the midst of the battle, he's like, you know, I can't fire my spirit gun because a head-on attack is not going to work against Hiei. He's too quick for that. So when he's thinking of that, he sees in the corner that the mirror is right there. And he's just like, he has this idea. So he shoots his spirit gun. Obviously, Hiei dodges, but the spirit gun bounces off the mirror and back onto Hiei's back, which is basically one-shots him. First of all, well, I guess I could have said this in the things I didn't like, but why didn't Hiei use the eyes to see? But then again, the eyes are mainly just power showing, so they're not really used as eyes, but never mind that. But yeah, it's a big gamble because later on, when he's holding Keiko and Botan is healing her, she's like, I didn't even know that the spirit gun can bounce off of mirrors. When did you figure that out, Yusuke? Oh, I figured that out about 10 minutes ago in the fight. I just figured I could try something. So if that gamble didn't work, Yusuke would probably be dead again. And we would have a whole different other series to be talking about right now. But yeah, the mirror breaks. There's blood on the sword. And they bring them all back to Koenma. But he still gets spankings because of the blood and the broken sword. The broken mirror, excuse me. So, all in all, good end to the arc, good end to a fight. Very smart on Yusuke's part as well. So, yeah, overall, I really like that part about Yusuke because it also shows how smart he is in a fight and in a battle. Because we get this a lot, especially with the shonen protagonists, where they're a very dumb person, but they're very battle smart. But Yusuke's a little bit different. He is kind of smart, but he is a lot better in fights. So nice to see that he can use his brain during a fight as well. So I've been debating the grade of this arc between an A- and a B+. And I think I'm gonna go with an A-, because to me a B+ just seems a little too low of a grade, especially for another kind of introductory arc to two other main characters, and plus the introduction of being a spirit detective and all that. Plus it's kind of a short arc, so you can kind of make a little bit of leeway. So I'm gonna give it an A- just overall. I thought the stories were well paced. They were just quick, short, easy stories. I mean, nowadays you can easily like elongate, that Hiei fight, for example. Even the Kurama stuff, some students probably could have elongated that as well. But anyways, I thought it was a great arc. A- is a pretty fair grade for this. And yeah, next time we're gonna be going through the Genkai tournament where we see Kuwabara enter the story as an actual spirit fighter thing. Yusuke gets training from her and all that. Another demon shows up, all that stuff. So that one's gonna have a little bit more substance we can talk about. But let me know down in the comments what you thought of this arc, if you've seen it before. Again, it's very short, like 3.5 episodes long or something. So it's not too terribly bad. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you thought of the arc. Like the video if I entertain you in any way, shape, or form. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I'm doing these arc reviews of Yu Yu Hakusho. Got some Naruto ones going on. Got my weekly videos of One Piece and My Hero Academia. My monthly videos of Attack on Titan. My whenever they come out One Punch Man videos. Those things are coming out as soon as they do. So, as always, people, I've been your world champion. I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.